abstract activist. All right, Jesus, I don't even know where to begin with this video. It was recorded a very long time ago, and I just haven't gotten the chance to post it, so here it is. I want to thank David from Sound Epistemology for doing some of the editing for me, so I really appreciate that. So the reason why I'm doing this preliminary kind of introduction is because I didn't even have my equipment set up before somebody came up and approached us. Some people were just passing by, and they saw our sign that said, "What do you believe and why?" And I started to explain them what street epistemology was, and then they just started talking to me about Jesus. So
I believe that Jesus is God.
I was like, okay, great. Well, that kind of solves what we'll be talking about today. And I kind of explained the process of street epistemology as we were setting up our camera equipment. And so if you want to skip all that, we'll have a timestamp in just a moment for you. Although it might be good for you to watch the intro because it'll basically show how I handle explaining as I go. And another important note is that I kind of went a bit slower in this conversation than I usually do, only because I felt that the belief was very tightly held.
I was just told to move to Tennessee. I'm getting ready to pack up everything to move to Tennessee. Why? Because God told me to move to Tennessee.
Like very, very tightly held. So much so that I was a little careful in the way I challenge certain things, especially because this is a total stranger to me. So, if I knew the person, I'd probably be a bit more forward in my challenging with my questioning. But I took my time a little bit, and you'll see how I handled that later on. And one final note is that there was an interruption a couple of times. There was a shouting man in the park that we were at.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
A quarter nothing. Southeast.
So I did my best to kind of clean that part up. You'll see how I deal with distractions. And please, as always, your comments are very welcome. There are tons of questions I could have asked, but I just never did. Put a timestamp in the comments below and tell me what you would have asked at that moment. Meanwhile, there is a preview for the video, and I can't wait to share it with you. So, without further ado, here it is. Teresa, what is it that you believe?
I believe that Jesus is God. It's going to sound kind of insane. So I asked for a break. Then I ran after God for 2 months straight. Okay, and I was driving down Highway 99.
What does that mean, ran after? Like, were you looking for God?
Yes.
Okay.
In an extreme way. Because I was in a lot of pain because we had broken up.
Uh-huh.
Not only when that happened, I started speaking in a language that I never even heard of. And I couldn't stop my tongue from saying this language. And so I was...
You were speaking in tongues?
Yes.
Wow.
But when that also happened, there was also demons that manifested against me. When I mean demons, I mean demons that actually came up against me. Okay. My therapist, I was reading the Bible one day and gold started appearing on my books in the Bible. And
Gold?
So, gold.
If later today somebody comes here and they take the opposite position, they're at a -10. They think this belief is false, and they think they have knowledge that it's false. And I ask them, what would drop your 10? Like, let's say their claim is there is no God, positively, and I'm at a 10 for that. And I ask them what if they could be more confident. And they tell me that it is conceivable that they could be more confident, though it is not conceivable to them that they could, under any circumstances, be less confident. How would you think about that person's thinking? It's an open question.
Yeah. No. I totally understand. I hear you. Okay.
Take your time. Do is we practice a dialectic called street epistemology. Do you know what a dialectic is? So a dialectic is like a way of communicating or a way of having conversation. Have you heard of nonviolent communication before? That's like one of the more well-known ones. And then a really ancient one is called the Socratic method, right? Those are like different ways of talking. And we practice a dialectic called street epistemology. Epistemology is the philosophy of how you know what you know. What is knowledge? What is the nature of knowledge and truth? Why do we believe what we believe? And how confident are we that our beliefs are real and true? And how much do we care if our beliefs are real and true? And we ask questions about the journey that you took to get to where you are and your confidence level on what you believe and why you believe it. And then we ask how flexible you are in changing your mind. And those are the kinds of conversations that we collect. And the reason why we post them to YouTube and share them with people is because we're trying to present a better way of having conversations, even if that conversation is across an ideological divide.
Okay.
So if you think something way different than I do, we can still see how you came to say what you're saying. And maybe we're not so different as we first appear at first glance.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of my philosophy.
Cool.
What's your YouTube channel?
Mine is Abstract Activist, and Reed here is Cordial Curiosity.
Okay. Mine, I'd be happy to participate.
Wonderful.
Because I was just asked, honestly, I was just over there. Was I not? Yeah. And we were talking. I'm like, okay, because I'm a strong believer in God.
Okay.
And I just asked, give me a place to share today.
Wonderful. Yeah, we would love to talk about that.
Okay.
We're just going to need maybe a few minutes to set up our equipment, and then the way that it works is that we do ask to record because we think it's important for people to see the way the conversation goes.
That's fine.
And
I may sound a little like strange.
I mean, hey, when we talk about beliefs, it usually is going to, and that's perfectly fine. My goal is to present challenging questions that encourage reflection on the way you think in the friendliest of way possible. Like if you're not enjoying the conversation, I'm failing. Like I want this to be a meaningful and fun and productive conversation for both of us.
Okay.
And so usually what I do is I'll ask for consent to record, and then by the end of the talk, if for whatever reason it didn't meet your expectations, just let me know, and then we'll...
Okay. This is all good.
Cool.
I'm game.
Are you all right with maybe returning in like, what do you think, Reed, like 5 minutes or something?
Yeah, we'll walk around a little bit more and then we'll come back.
Great. Thank you so much.
Just a question.
Yeah.
So, there's an analogy of the 11th friend.
Do you mind coming a little closer? What was that?
The analogy of the 11th friend. Have you heard that before?
11th friend?
Yeah, where you have 10 yes men and the one that disagrees completely. And he's the one that really is trying to open that person's mind
Yeah.
to what they don't see. Is
Right.
that your approach? In a way?
My approach is to ask questions pertaining to the epistemology that the person's using. And the epistemology is how the methods and the reasons. Usually it's the reasons, and then we try to quantify how much each reason adds weight to their confidence.
Mm.
So let's say I'm 90% sure that X belief is true, and my biggest reason is A, and then that reason A is 50% of my 90%.
Okay, so
Right.
you can direct this because my mind can be kind of scattered.
That's the idea, is that we're more of like a facilitator, and
Cool.
we ask questions that paint a picture of how your reasoning looks,
Okay.
and then how your reasoning is flexible or inflexible.
Okay.
And yeah, we like to have slow, reflective conversations.
Are you game for this?
It isn't so much about being counter to. We're not trying to be like the odd man out with that analogy.
Just trying to understand.
We're trying to understand, and we're trying to understand, yes, the flexibility or the inflexibility, and kind of like the quality of the reasons. And we ask challenging questions about quality, and then challenging questions about adding and subtracting. So like, I might ask, if I take away this reason, how does that affect your confidence? That sort of thing. Or can you imagine somebody else who holds the opposite view, what would they think? And we talk about that too. So it's stuff like that, but
Sweet.
it's not really like playing devil's advocate. That's not
Okay.
really what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back in a few minutes. Then.
Sweet. Thank you.
Sweet.
Oh, you're ready?
Okay.
We're ready now, I guess. Yeah, let's go ahead. So, since I'm the one mic'd up, I guess I can control it the way I'd normally do it, and I'm not going to do it any differently just because he's here. So there's three options that I like to give in the very beginning. So since we kind of went through what it is involved, you can tell me what you believe, and then we can go through the steps as to how you arrived at that belief.
Okay.
The second option is you can not tell me what the belief is, but you'll instead write it down on a note. And the idea with this is it will hopefully remove my own bias and my worldview, because I don't even know what the claim is. And we talk about the epistemology of how you arrive there only. And then at the end, you can reveal it. Although you might have already told me what it is you want to say, so we might not be able to do that option. The third one is I have a survey of 24 common epistemological statements. Like, what is truth? How does belief work? That sort of thing. And you can agree or disagree to that, and we can have a more meta discussion about belief itself. But it sounds like you have a belief already and something that you wanted to talk about. So did you want to do that? Okay, great. So first of all, I'm Nathan.
I'm Teresa.
Teresa?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, wonderful. Well, Teresa, what is it that you believe?
I believe that Jesus is God.
Okay, Jesus is God.
Yeah, that he's Lord. Yeah.
All right. And I guess my first question is, how did you arrive there? Like, yeah.
I've been on a journey, like all of us have. It wasn't always that way.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up going in and out of like church. My family's pretty dysfunctional,
Mm-hmm.
but I had always known kind of that there was something there. I just didn't know what. And it was, boy, but it was a very chaotic upbringing. To be honest, I'm an adult child of an alcoholic personality, kind of disordered family members, and so it was chaotic. And then as I left home, my life experience revolved around getting involved in relationships, even my marriage that was dysfunctional, abusive at times. And, you know, I tried other avenues. You know, I spent 15 years in therapy. I have a double degree in behavior social science. I have, you know, I kind of was
Wow, behavioral social sciences? Okay.
I also am a midwife. So you know, there was always kind of a search of, okay, I went the whole therapeutic route. I really wanted to understand people as far as psychology goes. And so I really got to understanding what makes people tick, especially my own family, what makes me tick, and how some of these kind of personality disorders evolved.
Mm.
And so that was always really fascinating to me, how people interact. But then searching for God was always, he's like, okay, I know you're there, but I don't feel you. I go to church, but I don't see you. Yeah, I mean, as far as seeing you, like I see all these people, but they always look really fake. And, you know, there was a lot of just not real, what I felt like truth. But I kept searching. Then in 2012, I had an experience where I had a near-death experience. I lost 2 liters of blood and died and was revived. And then immediately following, I had dreams. And then it was like, okay, and they were very, very, very realistic dreams, like surreal dreams that I never experienced before. And I saw myself in places that were just beyond beautiful.
When did the near-death experience occur?
2012, June.
2012.
Yeah.
And was that after you I'm hearing somebody yell over there. It sounded like you were involved in social work, or what was it?
I had just graduated with my bachelor's in sociology,
Yeah.
or in social sciences, and a month later is when I had the near-death experience.
We might need to pause for a second. Yep, he's coming this way. We might need to pause till that passes, if that's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah. That is a very common occurrence when I try to film. Although we try to do interviews at PSU, and this had happened there too, as well. It's this area. We are like, I thought by being in the remote top of the hill, we'd be like farther away from that. It's what? Small talk till it's over, yeah. Well, okay. How about this for small talk? What did you do today?
I just got from a birth, and so I delivered a baby last night, and then watched the family all night, and came out and been hanging out with my son.
Nice. So wait, did you deliver today, or help somebody deliver today?
Yeah, little boy.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, my midwife.
Yeah,
That's what I did.
that must have been exciting.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so now that's like fading a little bit more, so I might be able to concentrate a little bit.
Okay.
So just to sum up, it sounded like there was a near-death experience,
Right.
and that must have been a really powerful.
That was powerful. What happened after it was even more so.
Yeah, how did that relate
Well, I
again?
was having these dreams. I was like, okay, what is this? And so I was talking to my dad at the time. It's like, what is this? And he's like, well, I think you've seen heaven. I'm like, okay. And then he died. Like literally 2 weeks after my near-death experience, he died.
Mm.
And I found myself just bawling the night that he died and saying, and I was driving on the freeway crying, and I couldn't see, and I said, God help me, I can't see. And then a lightning storm erupted right then.
Okay.
I thought, okay.
A lightning storm.
As soon as I said that.
Right.
And so I said, okay. And so I started paying more attention to that type of thing. Then years go by, the grief subsided. And life just went on. And then I started dating a man, that was 5 years ago. And at the time, right before I dated this guy, I had asked God, kind of bring me a guy that would help me get closer to you. And here came this guy, and I didn't understand what narcissists were at the time. But then I had an interaction with him, and we were talking marriage. We were together for 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked, but things kind of showed up that were a little like suspect. And so then I started really kind of going like, okay, God, show me that you're real. Show me who I am, show me who you are, and show me who this man is.
Mm.
And he did. And it happened in a very fast way. It was like things started showing up at home, and this guy was getting antsy. He's like, well, why are these things happening? Aren't you a Christian? And I'm like, he's like, aren't you tithing? I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. So I asked for a break, and as soon as I asked for a break, things happened really fast. It's going to sound kind of insane. So I asked for a break. Then I ran after God for 2 months straight. Okay. And I was driving down Highway 99.
What does that mean, ran after? Like, were you looking for God?
Yes.
Okay.
In an extreme way. Because I was in a lot of pain because we had broken up.
Uh-huh.
My heart was broken, and there was some confusion around it. And I wanted to talk to him, but he wouldn't talk to me. And so there was confusion because we had spent 1.5 years together talking marriage, It's like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. So for 2 months straight, all I did, literally for 2 months, was run after God.
Okay.
Okay, and what I mean by that is I was calling out for Jesus. I was doing everything that I could possibly do, going to church as much as possible, like really seeking him.
Gotcha.
And then I was driving down Highway 99 in Tigard when on January 18th, 2018, literally at 1:18 in the afternoon, and when I received the Holy Spirit. And what does that look like? I was driving, and a power that I cannot explain. It was like a wind that just came from nowhere, and it just came like a bolt of lightning coming straight through my body.
Wow.
And it was power.
It was like a feeling that you had?
It was a power that surged through my body. It was like a wind that I never had before.
Right.
And all of a sudden, all my fear was gone and I was changed. I was not the same person.
Mm.
So my fear was gone, and I used to be very timid with it,
Mm.
but it was like fear. And I was like overwhelmed with giddiness, overwhelmed with the most extreme love that a human being could ever experience.
And did it feel like this was coming from outside of you and it
Oh,
was
yeah.
like pouring in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was like,
Right.
and so I had to pull over because it was overwhelming.
Right.
And so then I met with a friend and I told him what had happened. They said, you just received the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
Not only when that happened, I started speaking in a language that I never even heard of. And I couldn't stop my tongue from saying this language. And so I was...
You were speaking in tongues?
Yes.
Wow.
And I was just like, what is this? I don't even understand this.
Okay.
I had not been to that type of church that ever taught that type of stuff. I'd always been
Right.
to like Presbyterian, very,
Right.
in the box type of stuff. And so it was very like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to go, wanted to tell him what had happened, this guy that I was dating, and he went to talk to me.
Mm.
I'm like, okay. And then immediately after I received the Holy Spirit, my mom committed suicide. So then,
Right after that?
yes. And so it was
Okay.
very overwhelmingly painful. And so I went to go see him, and then he came against me and tried to destroy me. And what I mean by that, it was like a situation where I
Who do you mean by he?
the guy that I had been dating,
Oh.
we had broken up. I went to go
Right.
tell him because I was so excited because my heart exploded in love, and I'm like, look what happened,
Right.
But he refused to talk to me,
Hmm.
and so I was okay. So I went down there excited because I'm feeling all this stuff,
Mhm.
wanting to share with him. But then he came against me, in a very violent way. But not only that,
What do you mean? Why? Was he upset about what you were feeling? And
he never even knew.
oh, so he didn't know about like the transformative
He
thing
never
you were
knew about
going
any
through.
of that. He just
Okay.
came against me. And so then, but when that also happened, there was also demons that manifested against me. When I mean demons, I mean demons that actually came up against me. I was so traumatized by the whole experience. All I could do was keep my eyes on Jesus.
Mm.
And so I left.
So there's like trauma associated, and it sounds like
Severe trauma on top of trauma.
trauma, yeah, because it's multiple
Layers.
people,
Multiple people.
mother and father, and sounds like you were actively seeking out answers
Right.
to important questions
Right.
about you and your life and your purpose and the way you may attribute meaning in this life. Does that sound right? Like you were looking for those things at that time,
Oh, yeah.
and then when those things were happening, it's like these major life events in which we are so attached to our parents, right? So like there's that, and then when we feel that and go through that, yeah, that can be a highly emotional state, it
It
sounds
was
like.
a severely traumatic
Yeah.
period of time. And I was still seeing a therapist. And the thing about this is I spent a year from that point on, from January until the following January, I spent only with God. Okay, but during that period of time, it was just me and God. And when I say that, I mean, that's literally, I couldn't work. I had lost 40 pounds in 1 month. I was that sick by what had happened. My kids, everyone saw what was going on.
Okay, so you're physically also going through a lot too.
Yes, because the trauma was so bad.
Okay.
But things were
Pretty soon here, though, I will want to get to some epistemological oriented questions in a moment.
Yeah, that's
How much more of the story is there?
very brief.
Okay.
For the whole year,
Sure.
I didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's no one else at home except me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't work. All my bills were paid. My car, I even had a new car.
Mhm.
Everything was taken care of. People I was walking so close to God that people would come up to me because they could sense it, and people were leaving me after I prayed over them. They would receive healing, or they would actually have also received the Holy Spirit as they left my side.
Mm.
Okay. My therapist, I was reading the Bible one day, and gold started appearing on my books in the Bible. And
Gold?
Gold.
What is that? What do you mean by that? Like,
I opened my book and I spent a month on John 15. And John 15:5. I spent a month just in that series, in that scripture. and gold started appearing on my pages. I thought, literally, I was like, is this real? So I started showing everyone. People were seeing it. I went to go show my therapist. She couldn't see it. So I thought, okay. So I prayed over her for her eyes to be opened, and then she saw it. Now she's following God. I mean, things were manifesting. People were being healed. People were coming to God as a result of what my experience was. And God has not left my side. He is still here.
Okay.
Okay. And so and it's been 5 years. The healing has, I've gone on. I'm a midwife. I now bring them into all the birth rooms, and I see miracles happening in the birth rooms, because I deal with huge emergency events at times. And unless God shows up, things can go away. So I've seen things happen, miracles as a result of this.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that story. And I feel like I have a really good understanding of so at least bullet points of how you got there that you can do in 10 minutes. I mean, it sounds like it was months long for you, but in explaining the story, it was 10 minutes. And so I can only imagine, really, based off of what I heard. And I think that's a very powerful thing to be going through, all those things at once with the parents and everything. So I want to start by asking a question about the kind of person you think, what I'm interested in right now. I think my first question is, imagine for a moment you wake up tomorrow and this belief that you have is taken from you and you drop to zero. What kind of person would you be? Would you fundamentally change the way you approach life in a certain way? And how would you be different?
Well, I can tell you how I was different prior to the belief.
Prior?
Yeah.
How were you prior?
Prior, I mean, I went from relationship to relationship without any issue. I mean, I didn't care. I mean, I watched horror movies all the time. I was scared of men, but I would still have relationships with men. I get scared to get on an airplane.
Are you saying, and I'm not trying to put words in my mouth, so this is a question, are you saying that you would go back to that lifestyle if you didn't hold the belief?
No.
You wouldn't. So there are other reasons
I'm saying this belief has changed me to such an extent.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't go backwards. If you took it from me.
Right.
I mean, I know.
And that's what we're doing. Right. So this is a really tough question, because what I'm asking us to experiment with is to imagine. So in other words, if somebody were to sit here and they were like, I'm solidly an atheist and there is no such thing as God whatsoever, and everybody who thinks that is crazy or something, I would ask that person, if you woke up tomorrow and you believed, what kind of person would you be? I'd be asking them the same question. And I guess, yeah, so we're playing with imagination here and imagining how the belief impacts us or how closely we identify with it. And how do we think about the way it affects our behavior? Does it affect your behavior in a way, so in other words, if you didn't have it, if you didn't hold the belief, would you still be you? Would you still be doing the things that you're doing now? Or would you take a different strategy or approach to life in certain ways?
I would take a different approach to life, most definitely.
Okay.
I now believe that things happen for a reason. Whereas if I didn't have that belief, I would see things
more as coincidence.
Yeah, and I would also probably still come from the place of victim mentality.
Why'd you be like, Jesus Christ? Got fucking figured out. Do it. Yeah, watch.
I would be a little distracted for a second. I'm going to try to avoid looking for a minute. But,
Beard.
Mm-hmm.
A quarter nothing. Southeast. It's your boy.
Bit of a distraction. Sorry about that. Can you repeat the thing that you said prior, just a moment ago? You said that you would see things as coincidence sometimes.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't pay attention to things like I do now. I see things in a completely different mindset. I look at the thing that happened to me as the greatest gift that has ever happened to me now. I mean, to me, it is like the greatest gift that I went through that. Not only did what I overcame was so huge,
Hmm.
but it was like a gift that I would actually ever come into this relationship with, what I believe my creator,
Right.
which and has given me so much. What I have today, I never had then. I have such incredible peace today. So yeah, I'm
Peace.
I have peace. I have love. I have
Love.
overwhelming joy. I walk around with a smile. Like people will comment on me like, "Why are you always smiling?" It's because I'm so full of joy that it's overwhelming. And yeah, but I have love for I have love for people that I've never had before. I was a pretty selfish person before. I
Mm.
really didn't care about other people, even about my kids, honestly. I mean, I was very selfish.
Mm.
Now I really like see people for the value that they are so incredibly important and unique, and that, oh my God, how incredibly loved they are.
And I'm hearing that this is a good change,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's are there reasons besides the belief that make these changes good?
Yeah. It's
What are those?
impacted my kids.
Yeah, so like loving your kids is good, and what were the couple of peace,
Yeah.
and peace is good. Like, is that, how do we describe that? Is that peace in terms of like having answers for questions, or is it
Mhm.
what is the peace coming from?
The peace is a peace that is given to me. It's a gift that comes from God.
Okay.
It is a peace that is not of myself, but it has come to me. And
Right.
it's hard to explain. It's like the love that came to me. It's a gift. And so, unless you've experienced it, you won't understand it.
I see.
Okay? I never experienced it prior to that day.
Do you think that if you woke up tomorrow and you went from being confident that this is true to doubting if it were true, would there be an avenue for you to find peace again? Or would there be no avenue to find peace?
Well, if I have it today and then I lost it tomorrow,
Yeah.
and knowing that I had it, is that what you're asking? If I knowing that I've had this and then all of a sudden I lose it?
The belief. I guess I'm wondering is a sense of peace within us dependent on this belief? Or in other words, because what I want to do is eventually want to get into just a few reasons, and I don't want to keep you here all day, so I'm going to try to like keep it within like maybe a half an hour or so, ideally. But like or less. But if I want to like probe your reasons, and I guess before I even probe reasons, I want to know if you would be under duress or distress if the belief were to be called into question.
No.
You wouldn't. You'd be fine.
Yeah.
You'd be fine.
Well, I'm saying if I called it into question, then I would probably struggle.
Let's say that you call it into question so much that your confidence drops. Like if that happened hypothetically, and I'm not saying that
Then I
this
think I would
conversation will do
probably,
that, but if that were to, because it could, I don't know. I'm going to ask you
I think
questions about it.
I
So
would struggle with that. I think if I started questioning God and questioning my own set of beliefs, I think I would struggle only because of what I've experienced. It's not so much belief, it's experience that I've had. And so that experience,
Okay.
these are actual supernatural experiences, not so much belief.
Right. So before I get to because that sounds like a reason, and I want to ask questions about the reason. Though before I even get to there, I just want to see how you view your own identity, and how if you woke up tomorrow and you didn't believe, would you still be able to find peace? Or, because like, here's my fear or worry, is if I get into your epistemology and let's say we start questioning things together, and these questions make it hard for you to sleep at night, it's not really a direction, like I'm looking after your well-being, because it sounds like this is connected to emotional things and also to how you view yourself, and also this powerful journey that you went on, also something with your parents. Like I just would rather, like, because I want to look out for you.
I hear ya.
And I guess I'm wondering, if you woke up tomorrow and you didn't believe, like would you be okay? Like would you still be able to find peace and meaning and joy Like, would you be able to do that
Well,
without
yeah,
this idea?
I do believe so.
Okay.
I do believe so. You can find, you can find a different type of peace
Great,
in
that's
nature.
awesome.
You can find a different peace. I mean, it's a different type of peace that you experience in nature.
Right.
In meditation, right? There's a different, but you could still find
You can find in meditation.
Right.
Okay, yeah. There's like those avenues.
And as far as joy, yeah, I mean, I deliver babies.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a midwife. I'm around
So there's things you can do to
babies.
stay
Yeah.
engaged.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
I'm
wonderful
around
to
my
hear.
kids. I have grandkids. Yeah, there's joy to be had in every area of life.
Thank you, Reed.
Outside of my own experience
Right.
of the supernatural, yes.
Wonderful. Okay, great. Then in that case, I'll just run through the same kinds of questions that I ask everybody in every interview. And let's say there's a scale of 1 to 10, or 0 to 10, where 0 is I'm trying to figure out which question I would want to ask you first. Yeah, I think I'll ask the confidence question first. So on a scale between 0, which is I have no confidence, no answers. Not that you don't believe it, because if you knew it was false, that would be like
Right.
-10 maybe. But like 0 to 10, 10 being I can't be wrong. 0 being I have no idea.
Okay.
How confident are you? What the initial claim was, Jesus is God. Can we use that one?
Yeah.
How confident are you on that scale? 10. Okay. And on that same scale, 0 to 10, how important is it for you to believe in things that are true and real?
10.
10. Okay, great. Any questions for me before I continue?
No.
Awesome. So it sounds like truth is very important.
Very.
Okay. And so I'll ask the kind of like a thought experiment for a minute. Imagine before us we have a box of truth. And this box contains within it every explanation for any question, any and all questions. And you can ask this box anything. And when you open it up to look inside, it gives you every reason to believe or not believe in any question about things that are true and real.
Okay.
And it's never wrong. But also, just like Pandora's box, you can't put it back in.
Okay.
So once you look in, you know now, and you're convinced.
Yeah.
So my first question about the box is there any question at all that you would not ask this box?
Yeah.
So you would be comfortable with, and I'm not going to try to put words in your mouth, but the way I'm seeing a no response is you're comfortable with being deeply uncomfortable by the truth.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
want the truth.
Sounds like the truth is, it sounds like 10 is where you are at.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. The second question I usually ask, I don't really need to do that. I think what I'll do instead is go to the confidence, the level of confidence that you have in the belief. And if we were to take the 1 to 10 that you gave for this belief, what is the biggest reason? Now imagine each one of those are like building blocks that you get you to your 10.
Okay.
What do you think is the biggest reason that gets you to 10?
Is during that 2 months when I was calling out only for Jesus, that's the only one that came.
When you're calling out
For Jesus.
for Jesus?
It was him specifically that I was calling to. And he's the one that showed up.
So what's the reason again?
During that period of time of trauma,
Uh-huh.
I was calling out to him. I was looking to him, and he's the one that kept showing up. The experiences, the presence was him.
Oh,
So that's why I believe that. You're saying the confidence level of my belief, right?
right.
That's the question.
Well, yeah, I'm looking for the biggest reason, and I think the reason, if I'm hearing correctly, and I might be getting it wrong, so just correct me if
And
I
I might
am.
be getting it wrong.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that's the whole point. The whole point is like to reflect so we can refine and be more clear with ourselves and things. And also I can be more clear with you. It sounds like it's because of the experience and that time in your life, by and large, the journey that you took, calling out and asking questions, and then having that experience of like that lightning rush, and then that experience of with your mother that happened right afterwards.
And there's stuff that happened even following for the last
And
5 years.
for the past, okay.
There's more. There's some more things that have happened in 5 years worth since that initial.
So it sounds like the biggest reason is actually like many different experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
That were not there prior to that date.
Okay.
Except that one experience that I had when I had the near-death experience. You see,
Okay.
the near-death experience was kind of the start of it
Uh-huh.
when I had that first. But yeah, it's like after that, it is almost like a pursuit, like God was pursuing.
Mm.
And that's when I experienced.
Oh, that's right.
When I finally came to a place of complete surrender. And I only came to the place of complete surrender is when I had that trauma.
So this is the same kind of question I ask, no matter who sits in this chair, right? It's a little bit of a challenging question.
Okay. I'm
Um,
trying to follow.
oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. Can a person who believes the opposite use a series of experiences to conclude the opposite?
Okay, so this is interesting. If a person that does not believe in Jesus, but yet has a set of spiritual experiences, and I know there are many.
Let's say they have a series of tragedies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe this isn't even possible. You tell me. Is it possible for a person to go through a series of tragedies to conclude that there is no God?
Yes. If they had not had the spiritual part of it. If they just went through trauma, then they might take a
Let's
different.
talk more about that.
Okay. If someone goes
So
through
it sounds like that's the key,
the
the spiritual part. Okay.
yes. If you can go through trauma and conclude that there is no God, because why would God allow a place of suffering?
Right.
You in your mind would come to that place. How can God allow it? If there is a God, why would he do this?
Okay.
And so there must be no God, because why would people suffer?
So what's the spiritual part? So is the spiritual part, what is that?
The spiritual part, the only reason I'm alive today is because of what God did for me during that period of time. The spiritual part wasn't so much, it's hard to describe. A spiritual part is a Holy Spirit presence that shows up, that is not of you, that is an actual spirit that comes upon you and not only works in you, but changes you. I am not, you talk to people that have known me my whole life, and they'll tell you I'm not the same person that I was prior to that date. Everything about me changed on that day. So the spiritual experience, it was like everything in my whole system changing. And it was constant experiences, and it's hard to describe unless you've had them. So then you're having these experiences with them, but then you're also having experiences with the spirit. So things that might seem coincidental to other people, you start getting messages from God about which direction to take in life, about where to move. I mean, I could tell you, I was just told to move to Tennessee. I'm getting ready to pack up everything to move to Tennessee. Why? Because God told me to move to Tennessee. And if I told you how he did it, you'd be like, that is insane. But then if I told you exactly how it all showed up, then you'd be like, how is that? That is like, some things are so like,
So
yeah.
So what do I tell, let's say later today, somebody comes to this chair and they're saying the opposite. What's the thing that what method or procedure should they follow could I hand them a key that would help them on to get to a 10, what could I show them to help them get to a 10? If they, because what we're trying to do is to find the way that a person took to get to a place. And if I'm understanding you correctly, a person can use a series of events to interpret and conclude the opposite. And correct me if that's not possible.
Well, if a person goes through trauma, they can come out saying there's no God.
Okay.
Okay, because they're under so much pain, they could not have that. And I think that some people go through experiences like I went through and do come to a place of complete surrender. And then they're like, okay, I give up, I'm done.
Mhm.
And then they experience God. I think that there's other people that don't have to go through such trauma like I had to go through in order to experience that.
Mhm.
And I know this because I was, during this, it was like a couple of years later when I was doing Lyft driver. I was a Lyft driver for a little bit.
Hey, that's what I do.
Yeah. And this guy got in the front seat of my car.
Yeah.
And this happened on a multiple case. This isn't the only one.
I can really relate to this. Yeah.
So the guy got in the front seat, and he's a kid about your age, okay?
Uh-huh.
And so I start talking to him about some of the experiences, and he's hungry. He wants to know more what I've experienced. So I start telling him, and then I look at him. I said, "Do you want this?" He said, "Yes." I don't know this guy from Adam.
Do you want this? You mean like your
I said, "Do you want
experiences?
what I have?" And
Oh.
he looked at me and he said, "Yes." I said, "Okay." I said,
Okay.
"Then do you mind if
Like
I
the
come?"
job?
No, the experiences, the spiritual experiences.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Now I follow.
Yeah, because I'm giving him some examples.
Okay.
I pray for him, and then all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit, literally, I'm feeling electricity leave my body and enter into him. He's jolted back.
Right.
And he's completely overwhelmed, laughing about what just happened, and he's now received the Holy Spirit. He's
Okay.
getting out and he's laughing and he's dancing because he just received God.
Mm.
That is how God wants it to be for people. God wants us to be able to experience him.
Mm. So I have a few more questions about the scale, and then I'm open to. Oh, how are you feeling so far, by the way? Do you need to go anywhere, or are you sure on time, or can I ask a few more?
Are you good?
Cool. I'll just ask a few more questions. So I know you're already at a 10.
Yeah.
So what could happen? Can you imagine something happening to you that would make you even more confident? No?
No, I'm pretty confident.
Okay.
What I've seen, I think, well, that's not true. Is if I'm praying over a dead person and they rise, then that would make me even more so.
Okay. That's a fine example. I mean, honestly, yeah, that is yeah.
That would make me like, yeah.
That would affect me.
Yeah.
Okay. And can we imagine something that would drop your number to any lower number on the scale? Anything that could happen foreseeably?
I don't know if it would drop my belief because of what I've experienced. I know it would just be more trauma and hard if I lost like all my kids and my grandchildren and my family all in one spout, and then I lose everything. That would be a very, very difficult place to find myself in, and I would really question, and I would struggle. I would wrestle with God through that. But would it cause me to not believe? No. It would not cause me to believe.
Okay.
I would still believe even that much more so, but it would be very painful, and I would wrestle with that.
So it sounds like something that might edge the confidence up is seeing like a miracle or some sort of physical evidence of something totally outside of the laws of nature happening. And something that would knock you down sounds like a different thing. Sounds like maybe personal tragedy would knock it down.
It would. I would not necessarily lose my belief, but I would struggle with.
What's fascinating to me is it sounded like the thing that got you to 10 was overcoming a lot of tragedies.
Yes.
So why then would more tragedies knock it down?
I don't know if it wouldn't knock my belief down itself, but what it would do it would make me wrestle with God. It would bring up anger. It would bring up like, why is this happening?
Is there
Why are
something?
you making this happening? Why is this? Huh?
Is there, so this is and if you don't know, it's perfectly defined to say I don't know. And I'm not here to like make you give me an answer, though. Is there something that would make the number drop?
As far as belief, no.
In terms of your confidence that this is true?
No.
So it sounds like it's out of 10.
It's out of 10.
And there's nothing that could ever happen that would make it drop.
Even if I lost everyone, even if I was faced with death myself, even if if there's persecution and I wouldn't, because of what I know to be true, because of what I've experienced, and because of what stays with me. What stays with, that's the thing that's hard for people to believe. What stays with me? It's hard to describe. I have a fullness within me, whereas before I used to be empty. I'm not empty.
Right.
I am a whole human being as a result of what happened.
Sure.
And I feel it.
Right.
I didn't have it then. I have a boldness today that I never had. I'm not scared of men anymore. I can get right in front of a person going against each other, like abuse happening, and I can go there and face, and a power comes surges through me, which I never had before. And it stays with me. That's the thing, is that this is something that has not left.
Gotcha.
So nothing could deter me from that confidence. I mean, I believe that Jesus is God.
Okay. So this might be my final question, and then I'll open it completely to you, and you can ask me any question you want, if you have any. Now, this might be the most challenging question yet.
Okay.
I wonder. Hold on, give me 1 second. I got to decide which of these two I want to ask. Maybe I have two questions, actually. If later today somebody comes here and they take the opposite position, they're at a -10. They think this belief is false, and they think they have knowledge that it's false. And I ask them, what would drop your 10? Like, let's say their claim is there is no God, positively, and I'm at a 10 for that. And I ask them what if they could be more confident, and they tell me that it is conceivable that they could be more confident, though it is not conceivable to them that they could under any circumstances be less confident. How would you think about that person's thinking? It's an open question.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I hear you. Okay.
Take your time.
We're all on a journey. Okay? All of us. And we all have our own set of beliefs, our own viewpoints. We look at the world through a different pair of sunglasses, right? All of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that makes us so incredibly unique and special.
Definitely. That's why we like to come out here and talk with people about things like this.
Yeah.
You know, things that are deeply meaningful, and like how we view ourselves in relation to the thing that we hold true and the thing that we believe. Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, we can go through life and we can have, you know, even people that are spiritual can be, you know, some spiritual. They can go out and they do a lot of meditation. They could experience nature and see the beauty in it, and you know, get involved in yoga. And there's other people, other religions that have experienced spiritualness, and it may have not, you know. So I don't want to discount that. And one of the things that happened during this period of time is I was led to a book, and it helped me kind of understand that there are areas of enlightenment, and there's other areas that are, you know, it's like there's a scale to where people kind of get understanding. Right?
That's very well said. Yeah.
And so I reached the place of pure enlightenment during that period of time.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
And I did that, but I spent a year in God's presence. So to reach that took extreme, destruction of my ego.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these experiences, and you're asking me, how do we get, how
I'm
do I see
asking,
these
how do
people?
I talk to this other guy who's going to come in later today, hypothetically?
You treat him with love and respect. You
Right.
treat him as anyone would want to be treated.
Well,
Now,
he says the truth is out of 10 for him as well.
right.
And I'm just a third party. I just want to know which one's correct. Is there a way I could do that to find out which one's correct?
Well, my therapist would be the one to tell you that.
Yeah.
Honestly, because she was the one that said she couldn't see the gold on the pages, and she didn't believe. And I asked her if I could, pray for her her eyes to be opened.
Mm.
And then she believed.
Okay. Yeah.
It took an act of God to even open her eyes. She didn't believe before this. She is a medical professional.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now she believes.
Oh, now she believes?
Because she saw the gold on the pages. She didn't see it before until I prayed over her eyes.
Mm.
And then she saw. So I don't think that people, unless their eyes are open, they can see. And it's only an act of God that is able to open people's eyes.
Huh. I have so many questions
And
about that. Although I won't.
And the willingness to even be, one, curious, to kind of come at God as a little child and said, I do want to see. I want to understand you. It's a search for understanding. It's a search for God. It's a search for, but you have to have the willingness and the coming at it like a child and saying, I want to see. I want to see. But unless you're at that place, you're not going to see.
Huh.
So this person that's an atheist,
Uh-huh.
that is like this, they may be so close to even seeing, they may have the mindset that they don't want to see.
Hmm.
So you have to have that willingness to play and to be able to be open.
If they don't see, and they say that they want to know, like how would I know that they really want to know? Like how would it, let's say they hear you, or they claim to hear you, and they're like, I'm searching, and I just don't see it. How do I know that they're wrong? Or, yeah, how would I know that they're not correct? Or how would I know that they...
Well, if they're searching, they're
Yeah.
going to find.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you're truly searching,
Uh-huh.
you'll find.
Okay.
Okay? God says if you knock on the door,
Mm-hmm.
if you are really knocking on the door, he'll open it. You have to be willing to knock on the door and not give up knocking on it. My journey started as a little girl. It was like I kept trying.
Mm.
And I kept trying and I kept trying. But then it wasn't like, but I wasn't like truly trying. It wasn't until I was like, and it's not even that God, it's not that I saved myself. It was that like I got desperate enough
Mm-hmm.
to say, I need your help. I'm done with me. I'll choose your way. And that's when it happened. But some people never even get to that place, or they, it's like, yeah, okay, I'll go to church, but they never even have the same experiences. The church is filled with people that never even experienced what I've experienced.
Mm.
Because they just go for kind of just going to belong.
To be a part of community.
To be a part of community, but
Right.
to have to the truth, like truly a spiritual experience and walk in with God is a whole different thing.
I'll leave you... Okay, so I do have one last question. And then I want you to ask me whatever you want.
I hope I'm not digressing too much.
No,
I do
not
a
really.
little
It's all pretty relevant.
Okay.
So this is another like wonder style questions,
Okay.
and I want to probe your imagination for a minute.
Okay.
And it might be uncomfortable.
That's fine.
If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can pass on it. Though, imagine for a moment this box of truth that we had earlier. We ask it about your belief. We open the box and we look, and we get the answer that it's not true, hypothetically.
Okay.
And then along with it is an envelope inside the box. And we open up the envelope, and the envelope has a letter describing why we believed nonetheless, even though it wasn't true. can you come up with a hypothesis as to why you might have believed even though it wasn't true and real?
Because of my experience. I mean, because of the experiences. I
Hmm.
mean, I believed, even if it, why I believed, even if it wasn't true. I mean, because of what I've experienced, is why I would have come to that belief anyways. Am I answering your question?
Maybe it's... Yeah, I guess...
Or am I being misunderstanding what you're
I think
asking?
you're processing the question. Or maybe I'm not articulating the question right. But basically it's like, could there be an explanation for why we may be believing in this, albeit the belief isn't true? Is there an explanation? Or could there be, hypothetically, just using our imagination?
Well, I mean, if I had not experienced it,
Well, I guess an explanation for the experience, even though the claim was false.
an explanation for the experience, even though the claim was false.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, yeah, you can, I mean, if you're coming from a psychiatrist type of perspective, the psychotherapy, you could say that she had a mental breakdown. You know, you can claim that she was, had lost her brain during this period of trauma, and that's what caused her to have these experiences that she perceived was actual experiences when really, it was just psychosis. I mean, you can claim that, right? You could also say, or you can come from a marketing standpoint, like the whole tribe thought process. Well, she wanted to belong to part of a tribe, and churches are kind of a tribe in itself, and so she's having these experiences because this is what the tribe has. You can kind of come at it from that perspective.
That's very insightful. Yeah. Wow, you have a good ability to imagine and wonder. And that's basically what this process is trying to invoke and convey.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that you were here to stop by, and you were the first people to ask us what's going on. Reed, did you have any questions or anything like that? Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And I want to open it up to you and be a wide open book if you have anything to ask me.
Yeah, I'm curious what you believe.
Well, I believe that having a better discourse in our society is very needed, and especially when it comes across from ideological divides, and that there's a better way to ask about people's beliefs. And I don't know how well I've done today, because this is my first time practicing in like almost a year or maybe 6 months or something. It's been a while. So I was a little rusty, and also it was my very first interview of the day. So I've learned that after I do like 1 or 2 interviews, like my third interview is like
spot on.
Yeah, because then I've practiced a little bit, and I'm just so excited to do this in the public with total strangers, people I just meet, and then figure out like the thing that is really super meaningful for them, and then respectfully challenging them to think if there are benefits to the things that they find beneficial from that belief, right? And then what are those things? Like, how multifaceted are the benefits of the...
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. What were you going to say?
I sometimes interrupt, and I apologize.
That's okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to say I really, I respect that. I firmly believe that all of our life experiences will teach us great lessons, right? This whole experience, what it taught me, is just that your opinion matters.
Definitely.
What your belief matters, and it's okay if it's not the same as mine.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
I think that our life would be better, our world would be better if we can meet each other with that perspective.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're liberal, if you're Republican, if you're black, if you're white. I don't care. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care.
Those are all topics we talk about a lot.
I know. What I care is that you're a human being, and that you matter.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, hey, thank you so much. That was great.
Thanks.
And you guys have a wonderful rest of your walk. Enjoy the sunshine today. Thanks so much. Oh yeah, we probably need to unmic you.
Okay.
See ya. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Want to sit here for a second? How did I do? I just hit the mic button here, so this audio is probably going to be weird from here on out, but I did fine. Yeah, it took me a while to catch my bearings. I was like, also, we just got our stuff unpacked. I didn't even get to unpack anything, and they came up, so I wasn't quite mentally ready yet, but yeah. I felt like I got out my favorite difficult questions with good rapport, so that was cool. I don't know if probing harder would have been better at certain times, but I didn't want to push my luck, so I tread lightly. But
The main reason was basically her changed life. I'd love to see an explicit OTF for a different belief using changed life.
Yeah, somebody has their life changed through experiences. Yeah, I kind of did that. But instead of changed life, I said they had a multitude of experiences to conclude the opposite, which maybe wasn't as specific.
Yeah.
I just said, like, they conclude the opposite based off of their multitude of tragedies.
It's basically an atheist goes through a bunch of tragedies, but with her experience, she resolved the tragedies.
Yeah, what's weird was when probing to ask what would drop the confidence, it seemed the thing that would do that were more tragedies, which is weird because to get to the level of 10,
That's irrelevant to the truth of the claim. No tragedies happening. Broke down that way. How does more tragedies happening relate to the truth or falsity of this belief?
to be honest, I was very distracted by the emotional intensity and weight with which the belief was being held. And I started feeling a little uncomfortable pushing too much, and that made it hard for me to concentrate.
Yeah.
Hey there. How you guys doing? Looks like they're with a group. Yeah.
Fascinating conversation.
Yeah. Also,
Forget how much religion is intense for people. It's so powerful.
it is very powerful for people, and I felt with that particular case, it was most appropriate to start the way I was starting, which is like, how will this affect your well-being? Like, is your well-being predicated on this belief? Maybe it would have been a clearer way to phrase the way I was trying to get across what I was trying to get across in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think I articulated that all right. I feel like it softens the SE questions later on, too. The how would you go up, how would you go down?
There's psychological literature around resiliency of people getting their legs blown off. People have a set happiness level. Even if she no longer believed, she would find that she would be fine.
Yeah, well, she seemed to just outwardly admit that if she woke up the next day, although it seemed very difficult for her to even imagine that happening, but if she were to wake up the next day and not believe, she said she would be fine, and that'd be okay. And then I explore that further with the box of truth, like, would you ask the question? Like, seems like the truth is more important than keeping the belief alive, which is like the reason for the box of truth. To think about that, and then... If you made it this far in the video, then you probably enjoyed it. Please provide a like and comment below as to a part where I could have made this conversation more productive. If you do so, please provide a timestamp and enjoy another one of these videos you see here on the screen. Thanks a lot for watching. I want to hear you do one.